Steady Steady Freefromers. Today we are going to make ginger snaps. So it's a take on the ginger biscuit, and with any luck they will have a snap, but we'll see what happens at the end, because we know if you are on the specific carbohydrates diet, certainly that you miss something that crunches and snaps. So let's see if we can make it work and go ahead and make these ginger biscuits. Now these will also form the base of a cheesecake that we're going to make, a layer cheesecake that we're going to make in glasses next week. So if you want to make a double batch, by all means do so, but have a practice and then get them ready for next week so that we can do part 2, which will be for the layer cheesecake. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, so we have the oven set on 150, which is 300 or gas mark 2, and just remembered actually I'm going to turn that down on mine because I've got a fan oven, and so it's going to be 130 for me on a fan oven. Right, so in this bowl I have 100 grams, we're going in grams for this recipe by the way everybody, 100 grams of ground almonds or almond flour. I've got ground almonds here. And then we are going to add 25 grams of shredded coconut. Now it's a good idea if you've got really fine shredded coconut, because the recipe actually suggests to grind it down further so that it's really fine, but this one's quite powdery. So the next thing we're going to put in is 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we're going to go for, it says between 1.5 and 2 tablespoons of ground ginger, all right, because these are ginger biscuits, so they're going to have that ginger taste. Now I don't like overly strong ginger, so I am going to go on the smaller side. I'm going to go for 1.5. Now the final dry ingredients are 1/8 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Now the smallest measurement I've got is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm going to go for about half of that. There we go. So 1/8 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt there. So we're just going to combine those, and I've got a few lumps of ginger in there, so I'll just squash them. Now this is a recipe from Gluten-Free SCD and Veggie, and she does suggest, well she says in her recipe to put cloves in, but I'm not going to put cloves in. I don't really like cloves at all, so I'm not putting them in. I will add cloves in the recipe at the end of the video, but I'm going to omit for now. That is all of the dry ingredients, and now we're going to pop in the wet ingredients, of which there's not very many. So we have, strangely enough, olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is what is called for in the recipe, and there's 40 ml of extra virgin olive oil. So we're now going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Just hold that pip, don't want that in there. And then 1/4 cup of honey. So now we need to mix that up. So the smell coming from this is really lovely. You've got the ginger, tiny hint of the cinnamon, but the lemon's really coming through, so that's lovely. And that's going to cut through some of that oil. Okay. Now we're going to roll it into balls and place it on here. Now we're going to make about 12 balls, and the recipe says about walnut sized. So I'm going to guess about that sort of size. It's about 1 inch across. So I'm just going to roll it and place it. And if I need to make them bigger or smaller, I can just adjust that at the end. So I'm aiming for 12 balls here. And the size is important because that dictates the cooking time and also the crispness of the biscuit. It's quite a greasy mixture, so it doesn't stick to your hands very much. It's not too bad at all. Okay, so I have 12 there, but I've still got some mixture left over, so I'm going to look at the smaller ones and I'm going to add a little bit more to those. If you really wanted to, you could get really scientific about it, weigh the mixture, divide it by 12, and then you could weigh each one so that you got exactly the same size. Okay, so we're going to flatten them down now so that they're about 2 inches across. I'm just going to wash my hands. Now what you can do is, if the mixture does get too sticky when you're pressing them down, you could have a glass of water nearby just to wet your fingers so it doesn't stick to it too much. So we'll see how we go. So we're going to pat it down till we've got roughly 2 inches. Okay, it's about, I would say it's about 1/4 inch deep. So that's that. I'm going to do the rest of them now. So they're all about 2 inches across. The smell is lovely. It's kind of a Christmassy smell as well because of the ginger, I think. The ginger and the hint of cinnamon. So I'm not a big ginger biscuit fan, but of course we know that ginger biscuits in cheesecake is really good. So there we have it. All of the mixture's gone. We have 12 lovely biscuits ready, and we're going to pop them in the oven now. 130 for fan, 150 for normal, 300 or gas mark 2 for other variations of ovens as well. So we're going to pop them in the oven for about 25 minutes. Now keep an eye on them, all right? Okay, so 23 minutes I left these in the oven for. I kept an eye on them from about 20 minutes onwards, and I took them out at 23 minutes because I was just scared of them burning. So I'll show you what they look like and then we'll do the cheeky taste test. Here they are, lovely, lovely cookies. Ginger nut biscuits, ginger nut snaps. Okay, so we're going to pick this one because it feels good. So you can see the thickness there. It's about, I would say about 4 mil, maybe 5 mil. And we're going to break it in half and see how crispy it is. Okay, so there was a bit of a bend and then the snap. So just going to break it again. Ooh, now that was a bit drier and that was a bit crispier. So you can see that they are really, they hold up really well. They're not bendy unless you really put some pressure. So they do hold up quite well. You know, when you see pictures of biscuits and they look fine, but then when you make them, they're all kind of floppy. These aren't like that. You could stand these up quite happily. Just stand there. Doesn't bend, just stands there. It's quite good, quite robust. And I guess that's why they make for a good crumble, you know, good crumb for the cheesecake. So let's do the cheeky taste test. I don't know if you can hear. It's kind of a there's crunchiness and there's a chewiness in the middle. So, okay, so texture is lovely. It's a bit chewy. It's crispy on the outside, on the edge. Maybe if I'd left them in for a bit longer and been a bit braver. The last batch I did make were crispy. They had a definite snap and it was just like, oh my goodness, can't believe this. So be brave and leave them as long as you dare, because it looks like that's how you get a crisper biscuit. And maybe let them go a little bit thinner. They have spread a bit. Obviously this one is not 2 centimeters in diameter, not diameter, across. Okay, so chewy and crispy. which is something we don't often get. So here we go. Let's go for flavour this time. Hear that sound? So good. So ginger is coming through. It doesn't come through initially. The heat of it comes through afterwards. I can't taste the cinnamon. Get a little bit of lemon in there with the ginger, but not much. Oh. That bit was bordering on crunchy. You know what this would be good with? Yogurt. Dripped yogurt. You could just scoop it up. Oh, that would be really nice. You could even crumble it over ice cream. Yeah, really good. So the recipe will be at the end of the video, and next week we are going to use these for the base for our layered cheesecake, and we're going to do it in little glasses, just drinking glasses, and so we'll blitz them up, probably, you know, blitz them in the food processor, which seems a bit of a shame really to break this biscuit, and then we'll use them for the layers in the cheesecake. So be ready for that next week. Okay, now I am changing the way I'm going to do these videos because I'm struggling to get them done on a Friday now because I've got extra commitments. So I'm just going to do a weekly video, so it's going to appear as and when I make it. So let's just break this. I've got to do this again. So good. Yum, 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 yum. So give them a go. If you don't like ginger, I'm glad I only put a tablespoon and a half of ginger in. I might go for a tablespoon next time because I'm not a big fan of the strong heat of the ginger. If you love it, then go for the tablespoon and a half or even 2 tablespoons for that power punch of the ginger. It's really good for you anyway. It's a good antioxidant. So like, comment, share as usual. I will see you next time in the kitchen when we're actually going to be doing cheesecake with these ginger nut snaps. Okay, take care. Bye.